Hey everybody, welcome back to Lemon Branch DIY. Today we are replacing the battery in my GMC 2020 Sierra. So stick with me and I'm going to show you how to do it the easy way. Okay, so you guys, I have actually filmed this video once before and I thought I would just redo it, basically make it a lot shorter so it's easier for you to follow. So this battery replacement is basically good for any kind of GM truck, okay? So particularly any of those that are like in the from 2019 on that have the auto start, that kind of thing. It requires a little bit bigger battery. Okay, so the only tools that we're going to need for this job is just a socket set with a 10mm, a 13mm, and then a flathead screwdriver. Okay, so this is where the battery is located. The first thing we've got to do is take off this case. So you just basically push these little tabs in just like this, and the whole thing will come out just like that, and it reveals this control panel. Now this control panel has a lot of different things. You'll notice it's connected to a lot of different electronics. Well, we don't have to redo any of this. We don't have to take apart any of this stuff. All we have to do is just remove this entire plate from the positive terminal and just kind of set it aside, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, the first thing that you want to do when you go to disconnect a battery is you always start with the negative terminal so you don't get any sparks or you don't short circuit anything. So we're going to start with the negative terminal, and you'll notice on this truck there's a grounding wire right here that goes off to the side. We're not going to touch any of that. We're just going to basically remove this entire thing from the negative terminal. We just slide this off and we'll just put it off to the side here because we don't need to worry about this for a little bit, so I'm just going to set it off to the side like that. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we've got the negative disconnected. Now we got to work on the positive. You're going to notice that this is all one unit. This entire plate is one unit. The only thing that we have to disconnect is we've got this wire here that we need to disconnect. It's very simple to do. All we do is we slide, you'll see this little red tab. You slide the red tab out just like that. And then the screwdriver, the reason we need a screwdriver is we're going to go down underneath and there's a little pin here. You just lift up on that and then the whole thing slides out. It's really simple. And now that's disconnected. We'll just put this off to the side also. And then now we just need to loosen the actual terminal. So we take our 10mm, we loosen that bad boy up. The screwdriver, we're going to stick down here. There's a little clip right here. We'll push that out and the whole thing now will lift up and off of the battery. Okay, so basically we're just going to lift this entire panel up and move it off to the side. There's not a lot of room to work with, so you're just going to leave it just kind of like this. Just leave it dangling and I'll show you a trick on how to keep it away from the battery. Okay, so the next thing we got to take off is this bracket that goes right across here that holds the battery into place. It's a 13mm, so this side here, we're going to remove this bolt completely. This one here, loosen it, but don't take it out, and I'll show you why here in a second. So this first, we'll go ahead and remove this bolt here. Okay. Then this guy, loosen it up, but then we can just swivel this up and over and put it just like this, up and over like that. This holds this whole plate up and out of the way, so it keeps the battery nice and clear. So it's easy to remove the battery and put the new one back in. Okay, now that the battery is exposed, we have to undo some brackets down below that are holding the battery in place. There are just a few to undo. Okay, so the first bracket that we're going to take off from down below is this first one right there. You can see it. This is a 13mm also. So I'm just going to put the 13mm on there and we'll go ahead and loosen it up. So you get it started and then just finish it with your hand. Okay, so this is the bracket that you just undo it and pull it out. That's what holds the front part of the battery down. Pull that out. Now there's one more over on this side of the battery. That's right down in there. So on the top left corner of the battery, you'll see where that one is. We're going to undo that one, 13mm also. So we're just using a 13mm socket again on an extension arm, and Once you get it going, just loosen it up by hand. Okay, so once you loosen that one up, just by hand, just unscrew it by hand, and then you pull up this little bracket, and that's what holds that side of the battery down. Okay, so now the battery is free to move around. You can see it's moving around now. Okay, so now we just have to take this out and put the new one in. Okay, before I remove the battery, I always put some kind of a towel or a blanket or something on the side of the truck here so we won't scratch it as we're pulling the batteries out, because these batteries are pretty heavy. So now that it's ready to pull out, there should be these two handles right here. You can go like this and lift the entire battery out. Okay, before I put the battery back, I always clean up the actual tray that holds the battery. So I just kind of wipe it all down and get all the dust out of there. Well, since we're already working on this, we'll just make it nice and clean. Okay, so far pulling it out, this is pretty fast, easy, as long as you've got the right tools, which just remember the 10mm to pull the terminals off, the 13mm socket to get all the rest of the brackets off. Now that you know where they're at, it's not too difficult to pull it out. It's just a few minutes to get it pulled out. Now it's cleaned up, let's put the new one in. Okay, so I know this is a little bit obvious, but you just want to make sure that the new battery that you're putting in is the exact same size that you are taking out. So there's different size batteries that go with different vehicles. Just make sure when you buy the new battery, just check with the people that you're buying the battery from, give them the make and model of your vehicle, and they will make sure that they get you the right battery. One more thing to note about the battery, I am purchasing mine at Costco just because it is pretty economical. Right now, this size of battery is $179, and then you'll get your core back. When you return the battery, it's usually around $15. So it's $179 minus the 15 core. So it's a little bit more economical. I also like getting it from Costco because if you have a problem, you can always return it. Okay, one thing that I always do also when I'm putting the new battery in, I've got a little step stool here. I get it halfway up because these are pretty heavy. I'm going to have to lift it from the rest of this up and into this place here, and these batteries are like 50 pounds. So we'll go ahead and get it up this high, and now I'll just lift it into place. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is inside the battery compartment, there is an actual flange. This guy right here. This black guy right here is actually welded on, and so the battery needs to go up underneath that. So you see the gray part right there? We're going to slide it underneath. See that? So it's out. Now it's back in, and that holds the battery in on this side. All right. Now we've got that bracket into place. Let's just go ahead and tighten these bolts back up. Nice and tight. You don't have to over tighten these, but just make them tight. So there's that guy. Okay, now we'll just go ahead and get this one tightened back up. Just like so. I'll pull that out. You'll see it down in there. Let me move this out of the way here. So there's that bracket back into place, and that just basically holds the battery on this side. So now we've got everything back into place. The battery is not going anywhere. It's nice and secure. Now we just have to put the bracket across. We'll bring this guy back up and around, just like that. So now this guy just comes across. We'll put the bolt back in right there, down in that hole. There we go. Like I said, I don't have to over tighten them, just get them nice and tight. Just make that nice and tight so it doesn't move anymore. Just like that. We just reverse everything. So we're going to do the positive terminal first and then the negative second. It's just in the reverse order when you put it back together. So when you take it apart, you start with the negative. When you put it together, you start with the positive. So I'm just going to pull this little cap off, and that exposes the positive terminal. And now all we need to do is place this tray back up on top, just like that. And now there is that guy. So let's just go ahead and tighten up that positive terminal. Go ahead and tighten that up nice and tight. We'll go ahead and clip this guy back together. Super simple. You just slide it back on, you'll hear it click. Then you just slide the red tab on. Now all we have to do is the negative terminal. So we'll pull the cap off of the negative terminal. Go ahead and get that back on nice and tight. Then we'll go ahead and tighten this up again. Okay, so now the only thing we have left to do now is we'll go ahead and put this cap. We'll go ahead and place this back on. Okay, so that was pretty simple. Now we just have to start the truck, and we're gonna let it idle for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then I'll explain to you kind of how to reset the battery monitoring system. All right, we'll go ahead and try starting it. Okay, she started right up, which is a great sign. So with it started, you want to let it run for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then after, it's a good idea, just make sure all the accessories and everything are also turned off, like any of the apps or anything, make sure those are off, because that's going to help reset the battery monitoring system. So then it's a good idea to drive it around for about 20 to 30 minutes and allow the system to relearn the new battery and the conditions of the battery, and that will help reset the battery monitoring system. If that does not reset it, you can always just take it to the dealer and they can just throw their little gauge on there and hurry and quickly reset it. So if you have it in there for like an oil change or something like that, you can always just have them hurry and throw that on there and reset the BMS. So anyway, other than that, hopefully you found that a little bit simpler, a little bit less stressful. It's pretty simple. Don't let all the extra electronics and everything freak you out. It's not really that big of a deal. So thanks for joining us. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.